Every night, something strange happens above our heads. The world slowly goes quiet. The streets empty. The lights inside houses turn off. Humans disappear into sleep. And for a moment, it feels like nature itself has gone silent, but it hasn't. Because somewhere in the darkness, there is still a bird awake, a bird still moving, still calling, still watching. And the reason it refuses to sleep early reveals something fascinating about how birds experience the world after sunset. Because while we think nighttime is when life stops, for some birds, the night is when their real story begins. Welcome back. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden world of birds that stay awake long after everyone else has disappeared, from birds whose days are accidentally extended by human cities, to birds that sing beneath the moon, to birds that survive without normal sleep for weeks at a time and stay until the end. Because the final bird has a sleeping ability so strange that scientists describe it almost like having a built in night guard inside its brain. The birds that humans accidentally kept awake. Imagine walking outside your house late at night. The sky is dark, the neighborhood is completely still, and suddenly you hear a bird singing. Most people would assume something is wrong. A bird should be sleeping. The sun disappeared hours ago. So why is it still active? For decades, scientists wondered the same thing. And the answer was hiding above our cities, artificial light, the same streetlights, buildings, and glowing signs that help humans see at night are changing how many birds experience time itself. To a bird, light is not just something that helps it see. Light is a signal, a message that tells its body this is the day. And when cities stay bright long after sunset, some birds receive the wrong message. Their internal clock shifts. Researchers studying urban birds discovered something surprising. Birds living under city lights often begin their mornings earlier and finish their days later than birds living under natural dark skies. Some city birds effectively gain almost an extra hour of activity in the morning and another extra hour at night. In total, their day becomes much longer. A global analysis using millions of bird recordings found that urban birds can sing around 50 minutes longer each day compared with birds living away from artificial light. But this comes with a hidden cost. More time awake means less time sleeping, and scientists discovered that this is not just a behavior change, it is actual sleep loss. And in one study, researchers exposed black swans to artificial lights at night. Under certain streetlights, the birds slept around 40 minutes less. Their brains showed that they were truly losing rest. The lights were not simply making them active, they were changing their biology. And that creates a strange question. What happens when humans accidentally make the night feel like another day? Because some birds don't just tolerate darkness, they were built for it. The bird that sings to the moon. Deep in the darkness of forests and open landscapes lives a bird that feels almost imaginary, the nightjar. Unlike most songbirds, nightjars belong to the night. They hunt after sunset. They disappear during the day. Their feathers are covered in patterns that make them almost invisible against bark and leaves. But their most fascinating behavior appears when the moon comes out. For some nightjars, the moon changes everything. Researchers studying redneck nightjars discovered something unusual. On brighter moonlit nights, these birds become far more vocal. The full moon becomes almost like a natural spotlight, a signal that tells them this is the perfect moment. They begin calling, communicating, singing through the night. But what makes this even more interesting is that not every night bird behaves the same way. Some species respond strongly to moonlight, others mainly follow the seasons, meaning even among birds of the night, there are different rules. Some wait for darkness, some wait for the moon, and some have adapted to live in a world where humans would struggle to survive. But then there is one bird that creates an impossible question. How can a bird that lives in darkness barely see? The night bird. That can't see well in the dark, hidden in the Australian desert, is one of the rarest birds on Earth, the night parrot. For years, this bird was almost a mystery. It is incredibly difficult to find. It hides among desert vegetation. It moves almost entirely at night. Scientists expected this bird to have extraordinary night vision. After all, why would an animal choose darkness unless it was perfectly adapted to it? But when researchers studied its body more closely, they found something shocking. The night parrot does not have amazing night vision. In fact, compared with other parrots, its visual system is surprisingly limited. Scientists discovered that although its eyes are similar in size to normal parrots, parts of its brain and optic nerves connected to vision are smaller. In simple terms, this bird lives in the dark, but the world around it may appear blurry, and that creates a dangerous problem because unlike its flightless relative, the kakapo, the night parrot still flies. Researchers have even found evidence of collisions with fences, a bird designed for darkness. struggling against obstacles it cannot clearly see. Now, conservationists are trying to help by adding reflective markers to fences in its habitat, because sometimes survival is not about being perfectly adapted. Sometimes it is about finding ways to survive despite your weaknesses. And somehow, this tiny bird continues moving through a world that humans barely understand. The birds that almost never sleep. But the strangest relationship between birds and sleep might belong to travelers. Every year, millions of birds migrate thousands of miles, and some of them do something that sounds impossible. They fly while humans sleep. White-crowned sparrows are one example. During migration season, their entire body changes. Or instead of following a normal sleep schedule, they enter a state called migratory restlessness. Their brains become prepared for long distance travel. They sleep dramatically less. Some studies found migrating sparrows lose around two-thirds of their normal sleep. Imagine sleeping only a fraction of what you normally need and then flying hundreds or thousands of miles. For humans, this would quickly destroy concentration. But these birds are different. Researchers tested migrating sparrows on learning tasks, and despite their extreme lack of sleep, they continued performing surprisingly well. Their brains seemed prepared for this unusual lifestyle, almost like nature gave them a temporary ability, the power to stay awake when survival requires it. But even birds that sleep regularly have developed another incredible trick, because for some birds, sleep does not mean completely letting their guard down. The birds that sleep with one eye open imagine sleeping, but half of your brain is still awake, one eye closed, one eye watching. This sounds impossible, but many birds can actually do it. The scientists call this unihemispheric sleep. One side of the brain rests while the other side stays alert. Some ducks, some gulls, some shorebirds, they can enter a state where they are sleeping and watching at the same time. Researchers studying oyster catchers found something fascinating. When humans or dogs approached, the birds increased their peeking. They opened their eyes more often. They became more alert. But when they were surrounded by many other birds, they relaxed because more birds meant more watchers. A group creates safety. Everyone shares the responsibility. And suddenly, sleep becomes a team effort. A bird does not simply close its eyes and disappear from the world. It negotiates, it balances rest with survival. Because in nature, even sleep can be a dangerous moment. Tonight, when you look outside and the world feels completely still, remember something. The darkness is not empty. Somewhere above you, a bird may still be awake, a bird that is singing because of the moon, a bird that is moving because the city lights changed its clock, a bird that is flying while everything else sleeps. For human, be calm. Night means the end of the day. But for some birds, night is another world entirely, a world of survival, a world of hidden communication, a world that exists just beyond our window while we are asleep. And maybe the next time you hear a bird calling in the middle of the night, you won't wonder why it is awake. You'll wonder what else is happening in the darkness that we never noticed.